Alright, so if you don't know what albumoftheyear.org is, it's basically a website where people can review pieces of music and see reviews of music. And for the most part, it works. Except where it doesn't. Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1 is an album that cannot be listened to without prejudice, as it would demand the listener to pretend they haven't heard these ideas in other places before. It truly baffles me that an album this formulaic and simple found its way to the top 100 albums list. With the exception of Freedom 90, the rest of the songs are at best forgettable and at worst painfully uninteresting and much too long. Alright, this guy is clearly like the most musical nerd of musical nerds, and we can see that. But like, what the fuck is he even going on about? So if you don't know who George Michael is, he's basically a British pop star who released this album, Listen Without Prejudice. And to him, Listen Without Prejudice was sort of a reinvention of himself. He took songwriting more seriously. The ideas that he's expressing are more fun and listenable and more serious. He's not my favorite artist, nor is the album a masterpiece by any means, but it is a genuinely good album. And this is the sort of sentiment that reviewers will give on Album of the Year. If you don't like an artist, just don't review their work, since you will quite literally be listening with prejudice. Let's take Trippie Redd, a rapper that gets hate mostly because of his recent releases or his personality and goofiness in general. The highest critic score Trippie ever received was a 67 for his debut album Life's a Trip. I feel like this entire website is just the most elaborate, pretentious way to openly express how much you dislike an artist, but just like putting it the worst way possible. 90% of the reviews on Album of the Year do not address an artist's true quality of their work, which is something I always try to do. Like, I'm not going to not like an artist and then continue listening to them. But for these people, continuing to listen and downgrade an artist that they just flat out don't like the style of is like their personal hobby. It's the thing they enjoy the most. Anyway, personally, I think this shit is just ridiculous. Go ahead and subscribe and comment whatever the hell you want to.